Dramatic panel.
Well, we just got through seeing the movie Lockout, and
Hold
it
on.
was
Lights are in the way.
a little bit more disappointing than usual.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you expect from an action movie, but recommended. I'd recommend it if you had nothing better to do with $10. I mean,
in my personal opinion, I'd recommend it as wait for it to come out on DVD and then rent it.
Or torrent it.
But don't buy it because it's really not that wonderful. It's kind of like a shittier version of Expendables, just one man. A much shittier version.
Yeah, this movie opens up with Guy Pearce getting his face punched in.
Oh!
100 times over.
Yeah.
Just every smart-ass comment
20 minutes
he
of
could
this
make.
movie is just still camera, Guy Pearce just in a brace.
Pretty much.
Yeah, it's just every smart-ass comment he makes, he gets punched for it.
Yeah.
And then right after that, it opens up to a big fight scene
between
with
people
again,
we don't know.
With again Guy Pearce getting his shit wrecked again.
But he does eventually kill the guy who we don't see. That's the other thing about it. I'm just getting a little ahead of this, but there are a ton of subplots in this movie that just go nowhere.
Right,
and
it's just it doesn't get anywhere really. I mean, there's a specific plot to the movie, but there are so many subplots that they could have worked off of that just
went nowhere. It just
yeah.
And we learned that this guy Pearce, his name is Snow, and he is working with this guy Mace. So it's Snow and Mace. So it's a very sci-fi movie. And we also get this good chase scene where they're like flying, cars chasing him out on a really kind of supersonic motorcycle. So again, it's really sci-fi.
Sci-fi, futuristic, kind of like 2100.
Yeah, and Guy Pearce is making all these snarky comments, so you know he's a badass. So it's
he's supposedly a badass, but just about every scene you get in, he's getting his face punched in.
So he's like Edward Cullen?
But he's framed for treason, of what we don't really know because it's never explained.
Well, it's framed for treason of espionage and killing his own friend.
Oh, yeah, Frank, yeah.
These lights are
he's framed for
killer.
killing Frank. And there's this whole thing with a mirror, but we don't. That's at the end. But
yeah,
because apparently this guy from the Secret Service saw Snow kill Frank.
But what he saw was, spoiler alert, what he saw was a mirror.
He was shooting to the side of Frank, but at the same time he got shot by another guy. So it's like he's like pointing this way, and
right over here would be where Frank is. But there's a mirror right here, so it kind of looks like he's pointing towards Frank.
Yeah. But that's at the very end, and I guess that's a plot twist. But and the point is, he's sentenced to 30 years in stasis because they had this thing where they're going to freeze prisoners to keep them under control.
A super maximum prison that is set out in space called MS-1.
And the president's daughter is going to this prison to interview the prisoners and to determine that they're not being treated unfairly, or that they're not, being, tortured or whatever, which they are.
Of course.
But again, they never explain it. And so she goes there, and her Secret Service bodyguard, he decides to smuggle a gun in to protect the president's daughter.
Inside
Emily. That was her.
Emily.
Watson.
No.
Watterson.
Warfner.
Something like that. Emily.
EW.
He smuggles a gun in, and one of the prisoners gets it. This psycho Irish guy, Scottish.
Psycho Scottish.
He is. He was actually probably the only interesting thing about the movie. Actually, he was.
Yeah.
I mean, he was just beyond crazy. He was.
The guy talked to.
I don't know, but he gets the gun. He opens up all the prison cells, all the stasis cells, and his brother gets released, and he takes control of the situation. He gets all these prisoners to get the guns, get all the people into one room to use them as hostages.
Supposedly takes control of the situation, but his brother says otherwise.
Yeah, and that's again another thing. Who were these people? Did they even have names?
No, they really didn't.
So it's just, psycho crazy Scottish guy with a bad eye, and psycho crazy Scottish guy with
Psycho fat ass crazy Scottish guy.
Yeah.
With a heap for power.
Yeah. And so Snow, for some reason, I want to see if I can pull this off. Snow, are you a badass enough man to save the president's daughter?
That was actually pretty good. Yeah, that's actually one of the lines in the movie. Generally, Secret Service guy and another CIA agent.
They get Snow to go in there because part of this also is that this Mace guy
is apparently also locked up in MS-1.
You see, Snow's whole purpose in the opening scene is to get this briefcase to Mace. Mace then hides it somewhere in the locker. He gets arrested immediately and sent out to MS-1. I guess without a trial?
Yeah, without a trial, he bumped into somebody, gun fell, shot a cop, and he gets sent to Triple Max prison for that. So when they end up finding him in the Triple Max prison, he's suffering from dementia. So he part of his cerebral cortex is messed up.
That's a side effect of the stasis. And so he eventually relays the message to the president's daughter, accidentally. He's like, just babbling on, but apparently he relays the code to open up the locker. But that's later. And the whole point of this is that the prisoners are taking over this prison. They have the president's daughter as hostage. They don't know that at first. And Snow is sent in to
recover the president's daughter and bring her back. No one else. A single escape pod, which they explain to him is supposed to be a double, but when they find out, it's only a single pod.
And so she doesn't go. Well, that's getting ahead. She fakes going into the pod because she somehow been charmed by this snarky badass that she is now, a pampered princess, and she has to make sacrifices for her own causes. And ow, man, that's just
it's really not as good as what you may think. The general side of the story is he goes in to rescue the daughter. The daughter decides no, she doesn't want to be rescued. She wants to rescue
save all the hostages.
Save all the other hostages, who ends up being killed anyway by the psycho Scottish guy with the bad eye. And one of the real downsides is it's a PG-13 movie. They could have made it a whole lot better by making it R. I mean, one of the scenes is he just enters the Triple Max prison.
And he gets assaulted by one of the prisoners who kicks his ass. That's a constant theme.
He has a bomb necklace that when you connect the ends, it creates a small charge, high explosive blast.
Which apparently was just enough to blow a guy's head off, but nothing else. I mean, it says he could blow the bulkhead off with this thing. But he snaps this thing and guys around the neck, pushes him away, and it's just like Scanner, but of course we don't see it.
Yeah, I mean, you don't even see the guy's head getting blown off, and you don't even see anything after that. I mean, you see the guy's body on the ground, but where the head's blown off is just all darkened area.
I think they actually use camera tricks to actually hide the head.
Right.
So, kudos to that.
And then when they're going to save all the prisoners, Emily is looking at watching the screen. Guy walks up and just shoots one of the prisoners. Starts talking to her, and she talks back, saying, "No, don't kill all the prisoners. I'll tell you where we are. We're on level 3." He then turns around, ready to go and shoot all the prisoners. You hear off the gunshots.
Well, we cut to Emily.
But it cuts to Emily with her
crying,
slamming on the computer, crying, saying, "No, God, no, don't kill them," and then instantly crying. You don't even get to see the gunshots.
And actually, now I think there was no resolution to that guy, because we see the older, the fat Scottish guy getting killed.
Yeah, and
He gets killed by by his brother with bad eye.
You know what that means? You're gonna make a Lockout 2.
no, the whole space station gets blown up in the end.
Lock into.
Thanks for ruining it! Jeez!
You're welcome. We already said spoiler alert.
Actually, there's this is actually something I call bullshit on. Is that they had this? They mentioned that they're going to put on these space suits, and they're going to hang around in space for a space shuttle to come and pick them up real quick.
Well, they noticed the space chutes as well as parachutes, so they didn't necessarily say that they were going to be hanging in space. Because the moment that they had jumped out into space, the explosion from the space station caused them to just
enter
blast
Earth's orbit.
them into... Well, they were already in Earth's orbit,
Well, yeah,
but they just blasted them at
atmosphere.
high speeds.
The atmosphere.
So
And they get, they go through the atmosphere. They throw out the space suits. They then open parachutes, but of course Emily gets knocked out. What?
My fingers are freezing.
all right.
Continue. Go ahead.
Otherwise, that's pretty much the entire movie right
Yeah,
there.
it's just Guy Pearce sneaking around and getting his ass kicked. It's
He's supposed to be some ex-CIA badass who we supposedly are to believe that he's some god-ass awesome fighter, yet he's always getting his ass kicked.
he has a few scenes, but they're really outweighed. I mean, hell, the first time he sees Emily, the president's daughter, she knocks him out with a fire extinguisher.
Oh.
And then at the very end of the movie, she cold cocks him in the face. And
Oh.
because he's like getting out of prison, he's a free man now. Emily comes up. Just,
Did she say anything? Anything?
she gave some like oh you owed me this or something like that.
I owed you this for the whole punching her in the face when changing the hair.
Yeah, because they're trying to disguise themselves as prisoners. There's no female prisoners, so they had to disguise her as a man. And I described this movie as playing Metal Gear Solid with no cutscenes, just watching someone sneak around, in space.
I am in. No one can find
hell,
me. And
What are you doing?
just a
I
funny
was-
thing from Smash Kingdom.
I was begging for a scene where he would he has this radio where he's contacting the people from the CIA and stuff. I was waiting for them this is Snow. Is anyone listening?
Yeah, I mean, I was waiting for that too, to be a bit Metal Gear Solid like, because that's what they were trying to make this movie.
Metal Gear Solid without the awesome?
Yeah.
Right. So, in a nutshell, my personal opinion, I'm
1
gonna
through
give
10.
this a thumbs down,
1 through 10.
and I'm gonna say it's about a 6.
6? 1 through 10. What's your opinion?
7.
7? Okay.
I'll probably go down later,
Alright.
but
Alright.
for now it's a 7.
7 and a 6.
Yeah.
That was Lockout. Now we're doing the Three Stooges. Yay.
All right.